All set? Mr. Hoppenstead?
I'm all set.
Okay, great. All right, I will make a motion at 7:06 p.m. to open up public input. So there's a motion to open up public input.
Second.
Second by Councilman Hoppenstead. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. This is your folks' time to shine. Is there any public input?
Well, we have to ask you a question.
Perfect.
What's the deadline for the budget and how much has the tentative gone up?
How much is the tentative going up?
I know that's totally, it doesn't matter.
So when you're talking about the tentative going up from what the 2024 budget was to today, the tentative, I will tell you that there is a proximate, and I'll go through it a little bit more when we get to that point, but it looks like to me on the tentative, dollars, don't quote me 100% accurately, but it looks like somewhere in the neighborhood of $769,745.
What's the percentage?
The percentage overall that it went up from last year, or the percentage that we're presenting as a tentative this year, would be 16.70. There's a copy of the budget back there.
I have it.
Grab hold of it. Okay.
But
I think it's on the second page, second or third page. Second page, third page.
Third page?
On the third page, it should be a block and we show you the breakdown of what's going up. So keep in mind, as I think you started to say, it's a tentative. So this is kind of like all the department's wish lists for what they would like to see and what they would like to achieve. And keep in mind, there's a lot of, as there is every year, there's a lot of mandates, there's a lot of things that, moving parts that everything is going up. So we have to take this very, very seriously in depth and detail, like we do every time, but go through each line item and see where we can save. You know, there's just a lot of requirements this year. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, like I said, that's increased this budget and our hopes, and I feel confident in the board that we're going to lower that quite a bit.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My question, has there ever been any talk about joining forces with other towns for your insurance, let's say, or for other services that would end up saving?
For the day-to-day insurance.
So that's the topics that you...
Yeah, this is something, I've been around for a long time, and this is something that comes up every year, and we look into that. I will say back probably about, it's got to be at least 8 years ago, I'm going to say, that the governor definitely pushed big time for shared services, and we do a lot of shared services.
With highway, right.
With the highway, with the police department, anything that we can reach across the lines and receive the same services back. And the towns really have worked well with other towns. Certain things we can do that with, certain things we can't. As far as the insurance, we looked at the insurance extensively, and I believe that the insurance rate now, health insurance, I think the anticipated estimate was 11% increase on it alone. So what we do is we look at that, we look at the opportunity. Obviously, if you have a large amount going into one insurance company, they give you better prices, you would think. So you have to look at how that's laid out and who actually gives government insurance. So we are constantly looking at not only the health insurance portion of it, and we never want to get less than what we get now. We only want to improve and get better. But it's the same thing with equipment. It's the same thing with building. So liability insurance. And a lot of times, all the municipalities pool together and currently go to one specific insurance company or through the county insurance companies and try to get the cost as low as possible. But yeah, it's a lot of investigative work, but it's something we do every year. And budget season is now, but budget season really is 365 days a year. It's everything. So we're constantly looking at the opportunities.
Okay. Any updates on that survey about the buildings and stuff?
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to talk about that, and I forgot to add that to the addition, so I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll talk about that now. Today we had Tinkleman and Associates come in. That was the company, the engineering company that we hired through the bidding process. They came out and did I guess, kind of an introductory meeting today, and gave us kind of a guidelines on what they are going to do, their timelines, how they're going to achieve that. And basically, they've hit the ground running. So today was an introductory with the department heads and a few other folks. Some folks couldn't be here. We also added other folks into the mix. We thought it would be smart to bring in different people. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to take the opportunity to go to each department head or people from the designated departments, interview them, and start talking about their day-to-day operations, what they're lacking in, what they'd like to see, how it can improve, and the deficiencies as it stands right now. So that is anticipated to start next week.
Oh, okay. Did they get over to the highway building too?
They're going to start with the highway building first, primarily, and then they're going to come to the town hall and work to the police station and basically put it all together. Yeah. I think, excuse me, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think the first process, the timeline of the first process was about 6 to 12 weeks. You know, it's kind of spread, but it also, they want to get together all the information they possibly can. And then they'll start putting that together and they'll culminate it into one. And they'll go through the next process and the next process. And hopefully, I believe it was about 3 to 4 months totally that all of that will come into play. I reached out just today, yesterday, last week. I'm waiting for a call back from our survey company. I expect to have the survey of the properties in our hands over the next week or so. I anticipate that.
Well, you answered my question.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. You're in the back.
Since Dwight and Annette are filming, I wanted to seize this opportunity to remind the community that the third Thursday of each month is our Veterans Committee meeting here at 7 o'clock, and all are invited to attend.
Great.
Community members, veterans, we're looking for members, so it would be great.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
Just looking at the page 3 from the budget, just a quick question about 16% or whatever it was for the total, but the numbers are different for what the town is doing. So those other districts for the lighting, drainage, fire districts, just the top 2 lines are the ones that the town is directly responsible for? Is that correct?
So when you look at those, you're going to look at the general fund. This is what the town is responsible for. The general fund. The general fund is going to talk about this building here. It's also going to talk about the salary of the highway department superintendent, his secretary. You're also going to talk about the police department falls under general fund. When you go down to the DA highway, that talks about everything else with the exception of that for the highway. You get down to the library, the town has no dogs in the fight there. We do not do anything with that budget. All we are is basically a collection agency for them. You get down to the lighting districts, we don't really, I want to say that's contractual. We really don't have a choice. The lighting districts fall, we have Clintondale and Modena, and basically what ends up happening is Central Hudson tells us what they are. So there's no negotiating saying, hey, we can turn the lights off on odd days or, turn them off in May or what have you when the day is longer. We can't do that. Drainage districts, that falls under our parameter also, and those drainage districts are established when the developer comes in and says, hey, I want to put in X amount of lots, and the engineers say, okay, you have to put such and such drainage in, and then they have the accumulative folks that are in those lots actually through their taxes pay for those drainage districts. Modena Fire District, they write their own budget. Again, we have no say in that matter. What ends up happening is they do their budgets, they have their own way that they do them, and they put them out for a vote. And again, we're just a collection agency for the fire districts. The same thing with the Clintondale Fire District, Plattekill Fire District, and your total is an accumulation of all of those together. So all of those together come down to 16.70 increase. When we look at that, you also have to understand that if you live in Modena Fire District and you're in the town of Plattekill, Modena Fire District is taxed at an increase of just hypothetically 2.39. It's what it says here. So your tax per 1,000 is going to be set at that amount because you live in the Modena Fire District. If you live in Clintondale, their increase is 1.30 from last year. Their tax bill is going to reflect different because, again, their fire tax is going to be a different number. And the same thing when you get into Plattekill. Plattekill is going to be the same thing. They're at 34.75. That, for the folks that are in the Plattekill Fire District, are going to feel bad in that area that is covered by the Plattekill Fire District. So it's good to know that, again, it's a tentative budget, but there's a lot of moving parts to this budget. The numbers scare the heck out of us when we first look at them, even when we finish looking at them. Everything is high, high, high. $1 here, $2 there, $12 there. That adds up. When you go buy $100 worth of groceries and it doesn't even fill one bag, that's the world we're living in today, and it's tough. So I have always said and will always say that $10 or $20 in a person's pocket changes the world. And we're trying to keep as much money as we can in everybody's pocket so they can live in this world. And again, we're trying to do our best and give the most services we can. But the reality is, all over the map, prices are going up. So again, we'll give it our best and do everything we can to bring those numbers down. And again, it's just a tentative budget, so we have a lot of meetings, a lot of meetings to talk back and forth, and a lot of pencil sharpening and probably eraser additions and what have you. But it's going to be a lot of work, but it's what we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice man.
Speaking from a person who never gets these percentages right, when you do your budget, could you kind of figure in, okay, the first two lines, the general fund and the DA highway, that's really town. What is going to be the percentage of that together that you're raising, not your 16% at the bottom?
It's kind of tough, and the reason why it's tough is because if we do that, just say that it's just numbers. It's confusing. Honestly, I'm not an accountant, but it's confusing to look at those numbers. And if you start separating them, and you look at the percentage from the first to the second, the numbers are going to be so different. It's tough not to put them together and come up with this. One of the things that what you're saying, what we may be able to do, is when we do this block, it might be advantageous to put a T in parentheses so it shows that it's town taxes. So we can put a T by the general fund, T by the DA highway fund, a T by the lighting districts, drainage, and the other ones are going to be out of our control, the library, the fire departments, and whatever. They do their own budgets.
Right. And depending on which fire district you live in, that's going to be whatever they decide that their percentage is.
Yes.
But when you're doing it, you've got all these numbers. What I'd like to know is what the town tax is going to be. The percentage of just the two.
I will give you a little insight. And what this is right now, I can show you, and again, this is just approximate. So you're talking about per thousand increase from last year. Last year's tax rate flat is $1.88 per thousand. This year, with this tentative budget, it looks like under the general fund would be an increase of 70 cents per thousand. That's assessed value. That's not market value. That's assessed value. So again, it's even more confusing, right? A lot of
You lost me at word one.
So it's crazy. I mean, it really it's confusing to look at, but when you lay it all down and you spend time with it, it kind of falls into place. So I didn't play out the numbers to give you, from 150 to 160 to 170 of value, assessed value, to let you know exactly what that increase would be. But approximately 70% increase, how it stands right now, how the tentative budget was put in, would be per thousand increase on your home or your property. And it's kind of, like I said, it's if you want to stop into the office and I can lay it out and spend more time with you.
You could talk from now till forever, and I'm never going to get it.
No, yes, you would. Because if you came in with your tax bill and you see your assessed value, and then just with two numbers, you could see the difference. It's really not hard to figure out.
Okay, because I just wanted to know what you guys, like when you get your taxes, you get the county tax, what percentage that is going up. Oh, I guess that'll do it when you get your taxes. Then.
Yes, but
Yeah.
also
You'll be able to say it.
we haven't done a budget. We haven't negotiated or looked at every
Oh,
budget.
I realize this is just numbers.
This is just numbers right now.
But what I was asking was when you come up with the real budget, it
To
would
break
be
it
nice.
down.
And the real budget won't have the county on it.
Right.
You have other things that get added on that are still out of the town board's out of control. It's not in control with the town board.
Well, I think she gets that. She wants to know how much the town tax is going to go up.
Yeah.
She knows the 5 districts are all on their own, and the library's on their own.
Yeah.
And again, it's not broken down to the point where, like you just said, each one can be broken down. And I'm sure it's a lot of work to do that, because then we would have to take each one individually instead of collectively. So here it's collectively and overall 16.7. So each one, you want to see like a percentage on each line. Is what you're asking.
No, I just wanted to know how much the town was going up.
Just the town.
Just the town. I don't care about the fire districts.
You don't want to know what the highway department is, or do you consider that part of the town?
That's part of the town.
Okay.
That's a
And then the
separate
lighting
line, though,
district?
isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yes, it's a separate line, but you want it broke down in what we. Let me
If I were
understand.
looking at this,
Yeah.
you're telling me there's a 16% increase in, and I know these are just overall.
Yeah.
That doesn't tell me how much the town,
Just the town.
is,
Okay.
and separated from the
I think
town
we-
and the highway. Then
I think we can do that. I really do think we can do that. And like I said, the only thing that you would have to figure in if you live in Modena Fire District, then you would have to figure out what that is to come up with the true value in Clintondale and Plattekill and so on. But yeah, that makes sense. We can do that.
thank you.
I will make a note, actually.
I think last year, if I remember correctly, I think we did do that and break it down, because I remember saying my taxes, like I figured mine out, and mine was going to go up like $62 a year after we figured it all out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be easier to, what you're saying, it'll be easier to figure out when the budget comes out what your anticipated increase is going to be. Yeah, and that is what we did last year with that chart. But I thought you wanted to break it down like, I guess I understand. I guess I confused you by saying what I was confused with.
I'm totally
So,
confused.
yes,
So.
I will do that.
So now you're unconfused, right?
Yeah.
No, so you,
Yes.
come
30
on.
years I've been asking these same questions.
Yeah, but it's tough, and like I said, I made a note of it, so I will try to address that. Hey, anyone else?
Me.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible tomorrow or Friday, whichever at your convenience, to go up to the park and lay out the sidewalks?
Yeah, but we're doing this right now.
Okay.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
no, I mean, in
100%.
public input, I'm just asking.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And that's what Willie's talking about is the concrete walkway that he'd like to put from the parking lot up to the pavilion. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this way we could just do that. So we all on it. I'm not forgetting.
Yep. Is there anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
What's the progress of all the stuff that's going on at the park?
I can't tell you until we go down a few places. I have this on the agenda. You're going to keep me off balance here.
You have trapping at the park, mulch, and Plattekill Day.
It says mulch removal / playground update.
Okay.
I can talk about it now if you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just actually kind of going slow here in case Ms. Capola would like to ask any questions.
I don't even think she heard you.
What?
She was
Close public.
Hello?
Have any questions?
Do you have any questions, Esther? I know you just walked in, but we're doing public input, and I'm getting ready to close it. So you're good?
I
All right. All right. Is there anyone else have any questions? Yes, sir.
On the Plattekill Fire District, have they given an indication what caused that spike versus the other two districts in the fire?
Yes, they do have some ideas to possibly do some other stuff with that. We have a gentleman here from Plattekill Fire
One of the
Department. He could
fires right
possibly-
behind you.
If you look into the proposed budget, if it's under, I don't remember exactly what the line item is, but it's EMS, and you'll see it's a good chunk of change. We have plans on doing, going paid EMTs,
Doing what?
going paid EMS
Okay.
down the road. So that's part of it.
Right.
That's a major spike in that. Yes.
Thanks. And then last thing, Dean, what are the drivers of the general fund that are spiking that up to 38%?
The drivers of the general fund that are actually spiking it up is actually the police department. There's an increase on that budget of over $400,000, and a lot of that has to do with mandates, I believe, that haven't been met in the past, certain things as far as trainings, certain other items, and we have to look at that realistically and see what that looks like, but that's an incredibly large increase. Very
And
large.
on your best wish estimate, what would you like to see that 16 reduced to? What do you think?
I'd like it to reduce to nothing, but that's not going to happen. You know, I really, honestly, I don't know. The anticipation is, if you look at the agenda, that we are going to pass a law to go above the tax cut, and we have to do that. We'd be foolish not to do that. Even if we could stay below it, which I don't anticipate that happening, that needs to be done. But again, I don't know what an actual number is, but I can just rest assured that the board is going to work their butts off to get it down as low as we can possibly get it. But we don't want to stop service either. Some of the other drivers are increased in the Medicare, the insurances, things that we don't have a control over. You know, it's the world we're living in. And again, some of the things we can work with, some of them our hands are tied. Anyone else?
I would love to ask a question, but I don't know if I should.
No.
Because Bobby Jackson did open the door to it, and I just want to ask one question to Bobby. I know you don't speak for the whole council, but do you expect that every year you're going to go up 38% until you decide to have a paid EMT and ambulance service? Is this expected because you raised it up 38%?
I know what it was raised. I do.
But
I have known.
I'm asking, is this something that you intend to do every year and go down the arrow?
I think to be fair, honestly, I think to be fair, I think that's a conversation that maybe you and Bobby, Mr. Jackson could have.
He's the one that opened the door.
No, I understand.
How did I open the door? Will
You answered the question to the.
But I still think, respectfully, I think that is probably a question that you should go to the Board of Fire Commissioners meeting and ask that there. Only because
When is that meeting?
Yeah, only because we don't have anything to do with that. But for your interest, you know, that's a public meeting, so.
When is that meeting?
The second Tuesday of every
Our
month.
commissioner meeting is the second Tuesday of every month. It is usually posted on your post over here.
Okay.
On our post on our website, correct?
Out here.
Oh, on the
Am I correct, sir?
At what time?
Board?
Yeah, they post their special meetings
What time?
and stuff, yeah.
7 p.m. But I will.
And again, just to be transparent, we have nothing to do with that.
No, we have nothing to do with it. I just want to know if it's
So on your own,
38% every year.
on your own, you can go there.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I make a motion to close public input at 7:30 p.m.
Second.
A motion on the floor to close public input with a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.